Folks, we are back. You are alive with the Wrath of Ruthless. I know you're like, whoa, the music's back? Yeah, the music's back. I finally was able to fix some of the issues going on, not all of them. And obviously you can see we're about an hour late for the show. I'll get into deeper parts of that. Let's of course get to the important stuff. Please remember to go check out GoFundMe.com/Thor's Warriors. And that's to contribute to my brother's GoFundMe campaign, taking care of him while he awaits his heart transplant. We're still waiting. Now that he's in better physical shape, we think that's going to come here very soon. Again, if you can't donate, please share. By sharing, you help make it possible for other people to get it. And you could bring as much as $30 to the campaign just by doing a lot of sharing. So please share. Again, that's GoFundMe.com/Thor's Warriors. Now, of course, we also have our friends over at Ruby Jean's Juicery. I want to remember you can get on their mailing list. I want to just shout out Chris Good. He's doing amazing work over there. And as you can see from the photos, the juices look amazing. I won't spoil just yet who our co-hosts are for today, but as you can see from these bottles, this stuff is great. I've gotten these. I may, in fact, leave here after the show to go get some more of this. If I actually, I probably won't make it. They closed at 4. But Ruby Jeans, 40th and Broadway, Kansas City, Missouri. They do pop-ups usually on the weekends, and like you can get smoothies, fresh, cold-pressed juice right there. You can get some small bites, food-wise. A lot of really great stuff. They do cleanses and all that as well. I'm not a big cleanse person, but like I said, you truly healthy bites, your handcrafted juice, the shakes, the smoothies. You can let them know if you have any allergies. They make it all fresh right there for you. So if there's something that you can't have, something that your body doesn't work well with, they will make sure it's not in there. It's handcrafted. Beautiful stuff. And like I said, yeah, just like great, vibrant, fresh fruits. Shout out to Chris Good and Ruby Jean's Juicery. And of course, don't forget to check out weekendlife.com. That's WKNDLIFE.com, where you can just press play, check out our live streaming, our music reviews, our movie reviews, of course, our television show reviews, and even more stuff coming. We've got another Movies Millennials Might Have Missed coming up here real soon as well, so check that out. And of course, to support the show, please drop by tpublic.com/314 publishing. That'll get you into our ongoing sale. We still got a few more days left in this sale. You can buy shirts, you can buy hoodies, long sleeve shirts, tank tops, baseball style tees, kids shirts, crew necks, so you know the non-hoodie sweatshirts, phone cases, notebooks, laptop cases, and mugs. Remember, not only do we have the regular style coffee mug, but we also have, and I love this mug. I have one of these. We also have the travel style mug. This thing is nigh indestructible. It's amazing. Go pick one up. That's tpublic.com/314 publishing. And of course, check us out on Twitter at WDDIJ and our fan community on Facebook. Shout out to all of you on the Justice League. Remember, that's group/WDDIjustice.league. And you can hear stuff from us all the time, interact with the fan community, and all that wonderful stuff with us. You know, get to know us a little bit better. But today's show is a little heavy, and I apologize. Because of that, I'm just going to distract you for a quick moment with this meme, which I thought was funny. Everybody gets to laugh. Yay. All right, you're laughing, you're happy. So, now we're in a good mood. We're going to keep the good mood going. We've got kind of an interesting throwback show today. Brittany is out handling some issues. She's got some stuff going on. Anyway, she's busy, folks. Like, I'm not busy on Saturdays. I'm making a point to say, like, look, I can't. She's got a much better life than mine. She's very busy today. So I'm sure we'll probably see her next week or week after, somewhere in there. But instead, I went back. I was like, I need to get some classics. I need to make this show work with a throwback episode. So first up, we got the original co-host of the Wrath of Ruthless, the wonderful, the lovely Rain. How are you doing?
I'm here.
Welcome back to the show. It's been so long.
Yeah, this whole overrain thing, plus new job thing, it took my breath and my words far, far away. But I'm here, and we're gonna do this thing.
Glad to have you back, of course. And of course, I said this is a throwback episode. That's because I got somebody else. Not just one. You're not just getting one former co-host. You're getting two people. I went out and got, of course, uh, the the one of the other two voices behind Give No Quarter, the wonderful Kay Walker. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So it is good to have you back. Now, I want to stress these ladies have dealt with my ridiculous request of coming on the show at literally the last minute. Um, blame me for that. Somebody's talking in the background. Who's got the watch page going? One of you two does. Just hit mute on it. Yeah. So it was really good to have you guys back on. I miss you guys so much. So what we're gonna do is real quick. We're gonna insert an ad right here. You folks watching the live stream, of course, don't see this, but we're gonna have a quick ad, and then we're gonna get right into the show topic. So we'll be back after a quick word from our sponsors. All right. Now you streaming folks don't see that stuff. That's the wonders of internet television, so to speak. See, the other way you can get away from ad content during our shows is an upcoming Patreon, which I'll tell you about soon. But we got to pub some other people's Patreons before we get to ours. So I wanted to talk to you ladies about a. All right, we're just gonna start with the celebrity one first because I feel like this other situation is so deep that I want to give it proper time, and I want to get you guys into the right headspace beforehand. So recently, a show that I listen to and watch, I watch pretty regularly, did something that honestly made me stop watching and listening. I have not listened since. Um, the Breakfast Club, very popular morning show, Power 105.1 in New York, uh, had on a number of guests that I thought was interesting, and I watched to pay attention. I wanted to see what was going to happen. I knew their penchant for uh, really kind of taking guests to task, asking the questions people might want to know, but other interviewers would deem, quote, inappropriate. Shout out to last week's episode. Um, and so I wanted to see. I was like, man, I know they're gonna do this right. They're gonna make this whole situation be looked upon differently because of the way they approach this interview, and I was thoroughly and utterly disappointed. Um, some of our listeners may, of course, remember Charlamagne the God is one of those interviewers that I have said, publicly that I really enjoy because even in the space of them being quote inappropriate questions, he tends to force people to kind of deal with the things that they may have said or done in public, and I feel like a lot of interviewers don't do that. And he brought on Lena Dunham of HBO's Girls. Now, you may notice I'm actually saying her name this time, despite the fact that her name has been banned, and there's a reason for it. I'm that pissed at Charlamagne that I had to say this woman's name. Like that's how mad I am. We're there now. We are seriously there now. You can see that the article is couched in this idea of her coming to talk about the final season of Girls. What she's really on for was her comments about Odell Beckham Jr. On Twitter and via her newsletter. And I'm just going to outright say it. This woman came on and they let her have an apology tour on the Breakfast Club. Now, in general, I'm okay with those. I'm generally speaking okay with with uh with apology tours coming on the shows like this because I feel like it's a necessity for certain groups. But she is given treatment that I can only say is the same as Hillary Clinton's. Hillary Clinton came on and got to really, be shown in the most positive light possible. Charlemagne didn't get, disrespectful in any fashion. But Lena Dunham's not Hillary fucking Clinton. Like, look, I may have serious problems with Hillary Clinton, and I think, you two ladies more than most people know how deep my issues with Hillary Clinton go. But I at least understand, like, this woman's running for president. We need to be as respectful as possible to Hillary Clinton on the show, because why is she on our show? So I get that. Like, I get it. They didn't really toss her softballs. She said softball-y pandering stuff. So that was on Hillary Clinton. That was not on Charlemagne or the Breakfast Club. Lena Dunham, on the other hand, I can tell you that both of these ladies commented, "Oh, isn't he the guy that asked the inappropriate questions on the show and really riles people up?" Yes. But Lena Dunham doesn't get riled up because Charlemagne doesn't ask any pressing questions. He spends the entire interview. I dare say this is the most respectful he's been in an interview since Louis Farrakhan was on. Let that sink in for a second.
Maybe he was having an off day.
Bullshit. Because Nate Parker comes on not 3 days later to talk about the birth of a nation. And what happens with Nate Parker? The same thing. Now, some of you people who don't watch The Breakfast Club may be wondering, what's the big deal? Well, here's the big deal.
He sold out. What's the big deal? Is basically what you're saying. He sold out.
He sold out because when black women come on, be that K Michelle, be that the entire cast of the Braxtons, be that, Tahiri, who he has a very long standing crush on, be that hell, I can basically go through every black R&B singer who's come on the show and just random black female celebrities. They get the most inappropriate questions. Their sex lives become center focus. Uh, Charlemagne's weird. Now he's gotten a little bit better since he's gotten married, but he still does all these inappropriate questions. He delves deep into the rumors and gossip about them. The show itself centers around all of the different things that have affected their public persona. Not Lena Dunham. I literally watched this entire interview just to see how angry I could get, and the first two times I couldn't watch the whole thing. That's how mad I was. Lena Dunham gets a pass. And I have to say this because it's the only thing that can be true. Because Angelique is biracial. She's, I believe, Chinese and black. I can't remember. But the white woman comes on, and suddenly Charlemagne turns into Mr. Softball. Every one of his questions are softball questions. There is nothing hard or difficult about anything he asks her whatsoever. The rest of the show is the same way. DJ Envy tries to pass it off as, well, I don't watch the show. I'm not big into it. It's ridiculous. Now, this story. First, ladies, what's your reaction to the idea of Lena Dunham's still existence in our periphery, and obviously what she said about Odell Beckham Jr.?
I guess I'll comment. My initial thoughts are basically that there are two options of why it is that he didn't do what he normally does.
Mm-hmm.
One, the people who actually own the show or own the channel, not channel, but station or whatever, said, listen, if he is a white woman, you're going to treat this white woman with respect, Negro, or you're going to lose your show. That's the first option, right? Second option is that he did that other thing that, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but somebody's feelings might get hurt, so be prepared for your inbox, sir.
You say that like I'm gonna care. Like, listen, people. Like, I know you're gonna send me hate emails. I get them all the time. I can tell you this with the utmost of sincerity. Go fuck yourselves. I You can send your hate emails all you want to. If you think I give a shit, like you've lost your damn mind. So go fuck yourselves. However, everybody who sends me like all the fan letters saying how much they like the show, how much they liked Brittany on the show, how much all of Devin's fan club as well. Like we love you guys. Join the Justice League on Facebook, or if you're not a Facebook person, we're gonna have a new place for you guys to go as well. Um, we love you guys. We love your emails. We hate the rest of them. And buy a shirt.
But the other option is that he did that thing that black men often do, and he treats the white lady with respect because that's what he's used to doing, and that's just how it is. It's like treat white ladies better than we do black women because black women ain't shit and white women are still prize and all that other good stuff.
Black women ain't shit. Shades.
No, I'm not saying
I was
that.
joking. I'm
I'm
joking.
saying that's how we get treated.
Yeah, that's the attitude.
Yeah.
With the
And
attitude.
and in her absence, I'm sure Brittany would agree with you.
That's just how it goes. So,
Yeah. No, we had a discussion a few weeks ago about the sort of like it was just her and I talking. We kind of talk about it every once in a while, but it was like a few days ago. But we talked about the whole idea of like black men who feel the need to degrade black women in front of white people.
Mm.
Yeah. So that shit gets disgusting. That's the shit disgusting to me. I'll get all over the top with that shit. But no, Kara, go ahead.
Oh, well. I mean, my suggestion of him having an off day was shot down. He had a sickness. But yeah, like I don't know. Oh, well, maybe yeah, he might want other people who are his typical guests to come on, and if he cares, leave it done.
Man,
Uh,
I say this with all
maybe
sincerity.
it won't look good for other
I say this with all sincerity. Fuck Lena Dunham. Um,
Well, yes, I agree with that. But
and Amy Schumer for that matter.
eh.
But not Rachel Feinstein. I actually really love Rachel Feinstein. I think she's epically hilarious. But yeah.
But yeah, like it for me, it kind of defies explanation. If you see Lena Dunham, you sure it's with her shit.
Yeah.
I think of all the shit. So
I agree. The fact that like she gets to defend herself from her clear molestation that she put in her own book. Like it's not like somebody else was like, "Hey, she's a child molester." You know, she was molesting her sister. It's not like somebody else said that. She wrote that in the book and then cries feminism when anyone brings it up against her.
yeah, that was
That's internalized misogyny to call me on my bullshit. Like, no, that's logic and reason.
yeah, that was bizarre.
shout out to Reason. Sorry, I'll do that.
Yeah. So we're 16 minutes in. We've just talked about, this particular situation. And before we kind of transition into the larger topic for today, I want to ask a very poignant question based on this particular situation. And Karen, we'll start with you. What is a show, a person, like a film, a radio station, whatever piece of media you want to go with? What's something that you, because of one thing they did, just said, you know what, I can't deal with these people anymore. Like, what's one for you? What's a good one for you?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let me see. For me, I don't watch that much TV in the first place, so
Right.
Let me see. Maybe well, of course I don't watch The Apprentice. I know because I always found Trump insufferable, so maybe that one.
Okay.
Uh,
Rain, what about you?
I need a clarification on the question.
Any piece of media that like you were originally like interested in, maybe you followed it, maybe you were like a fan of something, and then something they did just made you say, "Nope, I'm out. I'm checking out entirely."
Okay. Um, okay, so I actually had to have liked it first then.
Yes.
Okay. Because there's just so many things that I
This
just
one,
automatically started out with, nope, I'm not doing this. Um, okay. I will go with, um, oh Jesus, what's the name of that show? It's two shows actually.
Okay,
They're
go for
both
it.
edited, and it was Family Guy and American Dad.
Okay.
Um,
So tell me what happened.
the
Let's start with
way
Family Guy.
the way they were introduced to me, it was supposed to be funny,
Hmm.
and I was supposed to be getting more laughter in my life or whatever, because I get too serious. Um, and of course, it's forever ago. Um, and they do have political humor sort of in there, or so I was told. Like, okay, this. And so I tried to watch Family Guy, and it was cool because Stewie's hilarious and weird and stuff, and he's got a football head. That's cute. Um, and then it was like one day, or maybe it was just because the few episodes I started out watching, it was just different. But one day it was just like they decided they hated Meg, and she just ended up being the ass of all the jokes, and it just really got on my nerves. I'm just like, this is a terrible show for teenage girls.
Hmm.
It's not at the time because I wasn't. I was just thinking of the demographic they're looking at. It's just a terrible show for that demographic. You're teaching young men to talk to girls like this. You're telling girls what it is they should like. There's just so many different messages just in the way they treat Meg alone was disgusting. And then the drunk dog and freaking Stewie was just borderline social. Well, not even borderline. He's a sociopath. Like it just got really weird really fast, and then I couldn't do it. And then with American Dad, the first episode, I was like, okay, I can try this. And then the second episode, and I literally mean episode one and episode two. Episode two was so offensive and so degrading in so many different ways, and just the alien, and it was too much, and they turned me off so quick on that show. And of course, sometime around then, the Cleveland show came out too, and that was just all the way over the top. Everything that ever hurt my feelings as a black person growing up around white people,
Hmm.
everything that ever happened to me happened in like the first 5 minutes of that show. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
That's
you're
fair.
more socially conscious than mine.
I'm sorry, what?
She definitely died out there. Yo, Kara,
You have,
Kara,
Uh-oh.
exit and come back in. I think your connection is wonky.
that makes
Yeah.
me go, one is like,
Kara,
She's back.
the O'Reilly thing.
yeah, she's back, but she can't hear me for some reason.
Oh, wait,
Oh,
hello?
Yeah,
there we go.
go out and come back in. Your connection's wobbly.
Oh, sorry.
It happens. It happens. Sorry, folks. You know how this stuff goes. No, I won't be editing this out of the stream. Um, so I'll go ahead and talk about mine. Um, as Kara exits the call and comes back in. Because this is not the first show I've been like that with. I I used to be a fan of Scandal, way back. Um,
You just told me the sky was purple.
I just told you the sky was purple. No, the
I
reason
feel
why.
like you just told me the sky was purple.
No,
You like Scandal?
when like again, when I first came to Scandal, I liked it, and here's why. Um, it was at some point I think during their first season. My mom had gotten really into the show. She showed it to me at my cousin's wedding. Um, after the wedding was all over and everything, and she was relaxing in the hotel suite. Um, we watched it, and I kind of liked it. It was like, okay, this is good. Uh, I didn't know what all was going on. She had to explain some stuff to me, and I liked the concept of, okay, so they wanted to fix the campaign of this guy running for president, and the person who had the ability to do so was a black woman. I was like, all right, this is really good. I'm really into this. Yeah, Shay, your stuff's working fine, but Kara's is still wobbly. Uh, but I was really into that. I was like, all right, this is a great idea. I was learning about more about the character and and stuff like that, and I thought it was an interesting wrinkle that she was starting to have feelings for the president because they were working so closely together. I was like, okay, that's a cool thing. That was an epic situation. But then that became the focus of the show, and it was less two people both in relationships who have um, a tumultuous moment that affects their work, and became the central plot device. And I couldn't stand it after that. Um, I didn't feel
That
like.
sounds more like the math that I know.
Yeah, well, like I said, I love the idea of I'm an intrigue guy. You know me, as far as the writing projects I do, the films that are my favorites, all those things, all that usually is from a like I like the dramatic, I like the concept of suspense thrillers where you're just building like epic tension through situations that are realistic in nature and communications realistic, but it's very clearly stuff is going on that you can't grasp without being one of these people. I like that. And so I like the drama of like, all right, here's this like amazingly talented, like just amazingly talented black woman who is the go-to person to fix this thing. You gotta go to her. Like Olivia Pope is it. The list is her, and that's all. I love the idea of that, and it was just like, and of course because they're working together so closely, and they're both younger people. They're not, this is not a two like 60-year-olds, you know, helping each other out. This is a young professional black woman and a young professional, white guy who happen to be running for president. Like their age wise, it made sense. It was like, all right, this is still that moment where you might even consider this and working so closely, I bought it. I was like, this is a cool little hook. I kind of like that hook. So maybe this is just going to play out like constantly be a thing. Like every once in a while, you have to deal with the fact that like this thing happened and they're definitely covering it up. Maybe it'll become the big scandal. But the focus of the show is her helping out these other people. And then it didn't do that. It didn't do that at all.
I can definitely agree with you on that one. That's probably why it is that I stopped watching after season 3.
I didn't make it that long.
I kept watching because of my boy, whose name I can't remember. Oh wait, was it?
You talking about Columbus Short's character? Or are you talking about um
Tuck,
oh Tuck?
the hacker dude.
Oh yeah.
I was watching for him. Like he's my main dude, and that's who I was watching for. God love a nerd. So yeah,
You mean Huck, right?
that's what I meant. Tuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God, who plays him?
I was stuck.
No, I'm saying I'm trying to remember who the actor's name who plays him. Um, Guillermo Diaz. There we go. Guillermo Diaz. Yeah, he's a New Yorker. I'm not surprised that you like the New Yorker character. uh, that
I didn't know that, but
sure you didn't. Okay. I believe you. These people out here don't believe you, but I believe you. But yeah, no, like Scandal was that disappointing to me. Like, and yeah, Guillermo Diaz has been in some of my favorite movies. Like, he's in Half Baked, and I love that movie, which I know surprises some people listening to the show right now. Uh, but like, he guest starred on like Chappelle Show a lot. They would like bring him in to play different parts on the Chappelle Show. But yeah, no, like it just started. And I was just like, man, fuck this thing. I was just out entirely. Just could not do it. Um, but no, I asked that question because what I really feel like Charlamagne was doing was being unprofessional. And we're gonna take a quick ad break, and when we come back from this ad break, we're gonna kind of get into what I'm talking about. We're also going to pub somebody's Patreon real quick. She's a big friend of the show. I know both of you guys like her, um, and I'm pubbing her partially because I am like one of the people that contributes to her Patreon. So you know, uh, but yeah. So we're gonna do a quick ad insertion here. You live stream folks, you guys aren't getting ads, and the way to get the live streams here in the future is going to only be via our Patreon. But I won't tell you just yet how that rolls. So we're back from the ad break. You folks that listen to the ad, thank you for supporting the show by watching those ads. That helps us take care of the show. I did, of course, want to pub someone's Patreon, and of course that is our good friend Breathe V.
Yay, my girl.
So she just launched her Patreon very recently. I want to say just a few days ago. She started in October. So you can go by, check out her Patreon. It's just patreon.com/breathev. Of course, she's got the usual pledges. The once per month will get you a thank you and access to her Patreon only feed. $5 a month will get you access to the behind the scenes exclusive photo shoots, high def photos, all her tutorials, guides, and tips for cosplay and dealing with YouTube. A free monthly wallpaper. At $10 a month, you will get all the $5 stuff, plus the ability to vote on her next cosplay, and a 30-minute Google Hangout every month as she works on it. And of course, you get YouTube videos from her early, and obviously you can see some of her different cosplays. 25, you get even more stuff, like more access, a cosplay print, and your name at the end of her videos, her YouTube videos. $50 a month, all that previous stuff. Plus, I don't know what the Legolas set is. High def. Anyway, more high def photos. $100 a month, producer credits, direct input on cosplay, and of course, a personal meet and greet at a convention. So, check out Breathe V at patreon.com/breathev. We support those who support us, of course. So we had to go, of course, support her. So this other thing, and we're gonna just leave. We're gonna just take this down because there's no reason to. There's no reason to have anything up for this. All right, so check this out. I was talking to a friend. It must have been Monday or Tuesday, and he was telling me about a situation he has to deal with, and we'll try and get Kara back in here. But he was telling me about a situation, and I think you'll find the situation very interesting, though not in the good fashion. You know what I mean? Hold on, we might actually have somebody. We might actually have somebody coming in real quick. I'm gonna take a quick second here, folks. We're gonna throw one more ad at you, so we have to throw it at you later, and give us a quick second to make things very interesting. Boom. One more ad. Like I said, folks, live streaming, you're not seeing that. Um, so here's the deal. He's he wants to get into um, uh, he wants to get into a tech field. Okay, uh, and uh, he went to somebody who is already in that field, and his thought process was, well, I'll uh, I'll talk to her because she can give me a really good perspective as a black woman dealing with being in the tech industry. Like, she'll give me a better look than most people would, right? And so he did. Conversation was over. She basically, like, she eschewed him from doing a certain path in tech. Um, she felt like it might be, kind of, I won't say pie in the sky, but she felt like it was not possibly the best path to getting to what he wanted to do, which is a similar job to hers. And in doing so, he got out of the conversation. Again, they don't know each other well. Like, he knew who she was, that's why he asked her. And he respected he thought he was would respect the opinion of somebody who talks about the industry as much as she did, and all that good stuff. She so he gets out of the conversation, and she decided then to essentially, like, air him out via Facebook.
What?
Yeah, yeah. So she gets on Facebook and goes on this rant about how, like, people should respect her major enough to not treat it like a get rich quick scheme and all this other stuff. Like, she went ham on the very concept of what he was asking her about doing. Not that he was going to do it, but, like, asking for her advice about. Now, the only reason I can say for certain that this was uncalled for and unprofessional is that I saw the messages between them. Uh, and I told him, like, look, like, I believe you without this because I know you. Like, I know you wouldn't lie to me about this. But if someone else had told me this about the person you're talking about, I wouldn't have believed them without evidence because it was so outlandish. And I wanted to talk, like I said, for the rest of the show. Hopefully, we'll get Kara back here. I don't know what's happened to her. But I want to talk. I want, of course, talk to you about this, and it's this concept of being careful who you ask stuff. You know, and that's how we bridge from the Charlemagne interviews into this situation. And he was so worried about asking her softball questions that he didn't realize that by doing that he was making himself seem like he wasn't as big a deal as he wasn't as true to being this hardcore interviewer as he said he was and as he had acted previously. That in a place where the person belongs to certain culture, that he wilts. Um, and so that brings us to this topic of being unprofessional and being unprofessional in this fashion. Now, obviously, I'm not going to show you the messages that would betray a trust, but hearing that, what are your thoughts?
Um, you know, I don't know if this was this in public?
What do you mean?
Was it like public forum or like private chat?
No, she he asked her these questions privately. She made a
Okay.
Facebook post publicly about it.
Okay, see that's where you lost me. Because that's just really unnecessary. If you have an issue with somebody, you kept it obviously first and foremost professional and private, and that's not even something that needs to leave that box. You can curse somebody out, you can go off on somebody in a private chat. Don't take it to the public forum. Like there's so many things. There are friendships. There are business relationships that I personally have ended because when you take something to a public forum for me, that kills everything for me. Like, whether it's on a business level or on a personal level, if I'm saying something to you one on one, it should stay one on one. And then watch your tone with me because sometimes you might just not get that same version of rain that you're expecting. No, that's not cool or necessary at all. And then it just makes you really cowardly because if you're talking about, another black woman, like I can't stand it when we basically set ourselves up.
No. He's a black guy who went to her a black woman.
No, she is a black woman.
Yeah.
I'm definitely saying you're talking about a black woman who did this thing, and these are things that we get a bad rep about because it's just so extra, it's so over the top, it's so unnecessary, and it makes us all look bad. So I take particular offense to this because I'm like,
it would shock you if I told you who it was. I can guarantee.
You know what's funny? I have a feeling I do know who it was.
Yeah. For our future Patreons watching this stream way after the fact, you can learn all these wonderful inside jokes, and seeming secrets between me and former WDDIJ alums or current Wrath of Ruthless co-hosts. You can learn all this fun stuff from our meet and greets. But this one's staying secret. So
yeah, definitely not. Cause we don't want to be basically an example of what we're talking about.
precisely.
It's 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 terrible because as a black woman, so many times the assumption is going to be that I'm going to fly off at the mouth, that I'm going to do some over the top, unnecessary stuff, or, oh, you can't say anything to that one because she's going to be this, that, and the third. And when someone else actually goes off and does that, it adds to that particular narrative, and it's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing to do.
Yeah.
To your fellow woman, to your fellow black woman, to your fellow angry black woman. Like, I can't stress this enough. If you want to be an angry black woman, by all means, please, but pick your battles. Not one of them. I don't even necessarily have to know what the whole situation is to even say, dude, you could have kept that in the DM. Like there was no need to make a whole Facebook like, oh well, I didn't mention names because that's usually the first thing that comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because it's gonna be that difficult for us to figure out who it is that you might have been talking to. Come on.
Like,
man.
luckily, I will say it feels like that's not the case. But like I don't think you could discern who I was talking to that has the messages and from the person who posted without using the names. Like I'll give them that much kudos, but it really kind of gets back to this old concept of unprofessional in the first place. One of the reasons why I have always made it a point to make a difference between who I am on the show, and I'm always gonna do it justice, and who I am, outside that as an attorney, and all the other stuff I do, has been that particular thing, being professional. Like on the show, I'm supposed to be a character. I'm a persona here, even as much as it's my reality. Like this is part of who I am. This is not all of who I am, and I get to be that relaxed, casual version here. Unless we get like a serious story where I have to, turn into lawyer me with some terminology. I make sure that I am only like that here. When it's time to do work, when it's time to be, Matthew Elisha Williams Esquire, when it's time for that, that's when I go into professional mode and you don't see any of this stuff. I don't treat them the same way. I know our just joining guest is well aware of the situation as well, because we kind of briefed him before we came into the show. So I wanna welcome back another classic, uh, I can't give this man the proper introduction. I don't have music and alcohol to hand him. The the infamous third founder of Words Don't Do It Justice, Roddy P. Welcome back.
What's up, you guys? What's up? What's up? What's up?
Oh man, the people miss you. The people want you back, man.
Yeah, man. I'm very inconsistent, but I try to appear when I can.
So first up, real quick, happy moment. Shout out to uh, your young 2.0,
Yeah, man. My little man turned 2 yesterday. So
the stallion who will mount the
it's
world.
awesome. Right, right. Man, I swear, I really have to stop BSing and get him into models. He's
Like y'all, this
he's
kid, like I'm not gonna show this kid's face right now because that would like I'm not that kind of guy to be like, yeah, let's force kids photos on our cursing and hilariousness of podcast. But like this kid should be modeling. This dude sends me photos. I'm just like, why is your son not modeling right now? Like
like full mane of hair, like literally a
full
mane.
man, if like,
His
oh,
hair is ridiculous,
and then like him
and he's just like,
and Danielle's daughter, Brielle, when she gets old enough to do it, I think she also needs to be doing the same thing. Yes, Danielle, I'm calling you out. Miss First Super Fan, you gotta be held to a higher standard. But no, man, it's good to have you on. Uh, you know, we've been talking about the situation that you know you and I talked about as well, and like just yeah, man, it kind of drove me up a wall. Like the idea that somebody would take a private conversation and then use that for as fodder for their status message and then call themselves a professional. We've been talking about the nature of that unprofessional nature of that situation. What are your thoughts, man? I didn't get to hear your thoughts, entirely. And of course, people know they definitely want to know.
um,
I,
it, but
like I said, I want to know.
um, I was extremely pissed off
Yeah.
to the point to where I was debating on, since I know, obviously I'm in the middle of the situation. Um, I A lot of people don't know me as being a reserved person.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know me as, a lot of people know me as once I have my mind set on something or once I feel something about something, I will say it. So if I come off as rude, if I come off as an asshole, I just look at you like, okay, and like, what's next? What else do you have to say about me? Like, you know what I mean? I just say what I feel, and I held back saying something to this person, and I don't know. I don't. I felt like um, it would have went so far that it would have brought me to a place that I didn't want.
Yeah.
And this is my issue. When you have respect enough, or most black women want respect from their black men, and if someone comes to you in a respectful and professional manner about what your passion is, like give them the same respect. You know what I mean? Just give them. You guys are having a professional conversation about um, about basically the career path you took because they're interested in the same thing, and you you give them tips, um, and then basically what happens is the female was more curious than anything. She was asking more questions
Yeah.
of the guy. You know what I mean? Like she was unsure about some things and was trying to get more information about it. She was like extremely curious, and then the conversation ended professionally. Thank yous were given, et cetera, et cetera, and then she like went off on a rant on Facebook.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, who are you performing for? Like,
Especially because
who was the
it's not necessary.
who was the
Yeah, yeah. It's not
was the
necessary to
was the
go that
real
far.
is the her was the real professional was the real her the person in the inbox, or was the real her the person on the status?
And
You know
that's
what I'm saying?
that's the
It's
deeper
crazy
question.
because right, and it's crazy because the female all of a sudden she has personality. Now when I first when I mean I know her obviously. Um, well know her enough. So but
Right.
when I first came across this person, um, she was real reserved. She was worried more about how people seeing her. You know what I mean? She didn't comment as much. She didn't, she stayed kind of behind the scenes. Now, mind you, uh, I don't know. I guess what you want to say, black nerdy people usually are behind the scenes, but in her case, she was just more reserved than normal. And all of a sudden, I want to say in the last maybe respect for you as a black woman in any field of choice. You know what I mean? And ask you for your advice, for you to go off and do exactly what prevents people from, you know, talking to you in the first place. Is the background of my laptop just to motivate me to do some things. You know what I mean? Because I'm just like, it was it was
Sorry.
ridiculous.
Is that my buddy Shadow? Shadow,
Yes.
calm down, Shadow. That's my
He
buddy.
didn't like the status
Yeah,
quo.
folks, the official puppy of Words Don't Do It Justice, Shadow, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, we're I hear tales that we may in the future have the official dog of the Wrath of Ruthless. Um, I'll put it this way: the co-host who's currently out on handling some other stuff today keeps trying to convince me that two official dogs of the Wrath of Ruthless should come. I'm still on the one only, just one
He
dog.
has the dog, but he doesn't like to share.
Yeah. So we got Shadow for even just other minority, even other culture, people of colors cultures. It feels like we give even them more deference when we do things like this, when we're asked for things in a professional capacity, that we seem to go so much harder on each other. I can't count the number of black YouTubers or other, like, not even really viral sensations, but like something they said was profound I saw on Facebook or Twitter, and I asked them to come on the show, um, and can never get a hold of them. They never are ready to come on. Um, like if Devin were here, Devin would say the same thing. Like she has had to deal with emails back and forth trying to get these people scheduled, and they just never message us. They just never. It's like, dude, I'm not trying to take anything from you. I'm trying to bring you to a larger audience because I think you're interesting.
Right.
And they just don't get back to us.
This is what it is. I'm going to tell you what I think, both in her case and other people. Like once we get deep seated in the things that we love, um, we get the ego to where it's like, well, I am a black person in this field. I know that it's not that many black people in this field, and I feel like I'm good at what I do, so I shit on all the rest of these type of things. And and I say that because there, what other reason would it be? Like you legit have no other reason, or in her case, she had no reason at all to do any of that.
Yeah.
Literally, none of that. And then in the comments, they were like, "Oh, don't you?" I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not. They were like, "Oh, don't you work for the government?" Da, 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 da. And she was like, "Yes, I do." So
Yeah.
it's like, wait, um, so is it because you work for the government that you felt the need to say that this other person doesn't have what it takes because you made it, or it was kind of like what are we? What was what's the agenda behind the status? Was it for likes?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that would make sense if it was for likes because the person that I've known her to be previously is a person that probably didn't get any likes. Like I said, for most intelligent people on both spectrums of the color scale, um, they aren't really likable. You know what I mean? When you cram in your bedroom in the closet for the majority of your life to make things with this and this and that, blah blah blah. I mean, obviously, I can't speak for everybody, but most of the time, they lack social skills, and lacking those social skills, people don't like you. So now you have a platform where you actually have people that are semi agreeing with you, even though it's through a computer screen, but they're agreeing with you. Now you want to show up. So you might meet this person, like you said, you've seen them, you thought they said something profound on Twitter or whatever the case may be. I meet them in person and literally hate them because they're not the same person that they appear to be on the internet. You know what I mean? The internet gives a lot of irrelevant people,
Yeah.
or it gives a lot of people comfortability. It makes them comfortable in their own skin through the actual screen. Because you see, I can guarantee you that that status that she put not have been said in person to them. She said
Oh, guaranteed.
almost 500%. I will take every amount out of my bank account and others' bank accounts and put money down that will not have been said. And it's I make it a habit to not say something that I will not say somewhere. That's why I say a lot of shit. That's why a lot of people look at me like an asshole, but I'm just like, it's really not the case. It's just that I know once we left this conversation that me and you're having, I'm gonna go have this conversation with somebody else, and I know. So I'm gonna say to you exactly what I'm gonna say to somebody else, and that's policy. You know what I mean? But everybody isn't like that. Everybody isn't comfortable in their own skin, and you can tell.
Yeah. So we also have Kara back. Did you get a chance to hear what we were talking about there? She's still dealing with wobbly internet, apparently. Shay, any other thoughts at the moment before I move us for a quick moment into something else, real quick?
I kind of want to piggyback slash at oh Lord,
What is going on?
I don't know. I'm so sorry.
Is that yours? Yep, that's Shay. So, Kara, did you get you back in there? Can we hear you?
Yeah, I'm here.
So, did you get a chance to hear what we were talking about there?
No.
All right. So, to quickly get you caught up, we have been talking about this situation with a young man who went to uh, a black woman inside an industry he was thinking about getting into for some advice. He, in the course of talking to this woman, thought he got some fairly good advice, and that in going away from the conversation, he thanked her for the advice and everything, and kind of went on about his way. And then she chose to air out all kinds of like issues with what he was asking about via Facebook, to the point where like he clearly knew the status was about what he had asked about, and really got up in her feels about it. So we've been talking about how unprofessional that is, and sort of the larger implications of an idea like that, and where that kind of comes from. Shay had a bit of a audio trouble there. You back there, Shay?
Yeah, sorry about that.
All right, love. Good to have you back.
Um,
So so that gets you caught up. Of course, obviously, you folks probably figured out where I saw the messages from. Um, but Rain, go ahead and give your thoughts real quick.
Oh, I mean, if you're what at work and they're like,
No, it was
or
he privately went to talk to her about the issue, about like get the advice, and then she publicly talked about the conversation on Facebook without mentioning his name.
yeah, I mean that is rather unprofessional, but we do have this culture of airing out everything, like that kind of thing, and then know where to draw the line.
And the robots have taken her again.
Oh, hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you got attacked by a robot in the middle of that.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I was saying that we have a culture that where airing out everything is the norm, at least with social media. So, for her to go to Facebook to talk about her issues with what he asked, it doesn't surprise me. But at the same, well, no, but it is part of the culture that we have now with social media. People don't know where to draw the line.
Yeah. All right, Rain, you back yet? You ready?
Yeah, I was actually thinking, I know we've heard my thoughts on just the issue in and of itself, but really about the statement saying, lack of social skills as possibly a viable explanation. And I am going to say that is the reason why I'm saying that it's not a fair assessment is because if you don't have social skills, then you really, well, okay. In all fairness, when you don't have social skills, you don't necessarily know that you don't have social skills. On the other hand, when you're a black geek, you know your social skills aren't necessarily always 100%. So if you're going to go out of your way, take to Facebook and be public about something, then you are purposefully trying to basically light someone a fire socially. And that is where I kind of draw a line. Like, that it's, to go back on Matt's other question, or statement rather, it's it's a problem within the community, especially when we don't support each other. Because if all we do is look at the we're all black geeks kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
then we definitely should be supportive and understanding and, you know what, I took issue with this thing that you said, so let me actually address it with you kind of thing, because or we know, it's not just a one person thing, it's a communal thing, and this is our community.
Mm-hmm.
We know that we have these issues, so we know, hey, listen, that thing you said or that question you asked, it didn't rub me the right way. It can be just as simple as that. And if you're gonna make it out to be more than that, then you are definitely betraying us. Not just the one person who maybe you're attacking socially. You are betraying all of us. Because the reason why this is a thing right now is it this is a mutual friend. And then this is a mutual friend of a mutual friend. And then this is also a mutual friend of another mutual friend. And if one of the people who I know, then that's definitely a mutual friend of a friend of a mutual friend. Those 6 degrees of separation online are so much smaller, which makes our communities so much more interconnected. The betrayal is that much bigger for
Yeah.
me anyway. The situation could have been very easily solved by just having a conversation. I'm a big proponent of have the conversation. But if you're gonna be, and yeah, I'm gonna point fingers and call names. If you're gonna get calling about it, then you don't get the leeway of, okay, you lack social graces or social skills. You don't get that leeway. You don't get me to apologize for you because we are fellow citizens and okay, have this tendency to do these things. That's not a viable. If you're gonna be a jerk, you're being a jerk. If you're gonna be an asshole about it, then you're being an asshole about it. If you're gonna be, one of the, the betrayers who gets to live in the ninth ring of hell with Judas and that other dude,
Mm-hmm.
then that's where you get to go. Like, I'm sorry, it just doesn't do it for me to say that it's because she's a black nerd and maybe she spent too much time by herself and didn't learn how to be a social person. That's
Well,
not
well,
okay.
well, well. This is why I said um the the industry that she's currently a part of, I'm currently a part of. I know how basically our industry lacks, let alone black people, let alone black females, and I know how my industry, people that I work with that are in my industry, I know how they are one on one. You know what I mean? So the issue that I have with it, like just like how you said, you can post a generic status, subliminal status to all these people and have this, wide range conversation for likes, but the person that you could have had a chance to address one on one, somehow some part of you ran. You know what I mean? And I was just like, and I said, this whole black nerd thing because obviously she's a part of that community as well, but she's also part of a bigger industry where I know that literally having a one-on-one conversation with people are they find it very difficult. And
Have a public one,
say that again.
but to switch out and have a public one instead, like
Right.
I can't
And
say that.
that's what I think that's what pissed me off the most about the situation. It was just like, so you just completely avoided the whole conversation that you just had with this person one on one to basically say the exact opposite to Facebook. I was kind of lost, but
Well, not
some
you,
people
but
you just
it's
can't
so
hear.
empowered, and I don't like people. I don't like it when people get because okay, yeah, if the shoe doesn't fit, don't wear it. Unfortunately, in the world that we live in, when especially if a black woman, when one does it, it means basically creating a shoe that now I have to try to unwear. It's not okay. I give no passes for that. Not give me shoes that I don't want to wear.
And I think what I mean, what took it to a certain level for me as to not respond to the actual status was, you know how you can know someone from afar and have the utmost respect for them just because you know what they do and how they carry themselves in situations. So to see that, it was just kind of like you were saying earlier, about betrayal and et cetera, et cetera. It was just like what are you doing? Like what are you doing? Like what are you doing?
It's even a betrayal to her own, to the character that she portrayed. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
very disappointed.
extremely so. Like I said, knowing both people, it really kind of got to me. But I see Kay's back. Good to have you back as well. Um, I want to get to this larger notion of like, of really what both of you all were just talking about. This idea of like when one of us does something to one another, it does cause this. Now every single person has to fit in that same footing. And do you feel like there's any situation where, and I'm talking about this from a professionalism standpoint, do you feel like there's any situation where something like this can happen and it doesn't feel like it's going to cause a larger issue for how you view certain groups? Because obviously, if we told these people exactly what happened, they would probably be like harassing this woman via Facebook, and that's why I don't want to like mention her name or show any of that stuff. But I think that reaction would come because to me it feels like there is no escape. As an attorney, especially, whenever somebody asks me about law school, I'm never dismissive because I recognize that as a black man in this industry, I don't have a choice. Like if I say something, mean spirited or crude or don't give the profession the respect it deserves eh, by anyone's perception, then suddenly, well, those black lawyers don't take the law seriously.
Yep.
I don't just speak for black men lawyers. I speak for all black lawyers. And to some people, I speak for all minorities as lawyers. Every community of color is spoken of by me saying, "Man, why would you want to go to law school? That's pointless." Like, I don't feel that way. But if I were to say something like that, no one would take that as a joke. They would say, "Well, clearly these people of color, as they call themselves, don't have any respect for the law. No wonder they do all these other things." Like, I recognize that I represent, and that's not even just me. That's other black people. I'm careful just talking to other black people about the profession, even if I'm frustrated. And right now, I'm extremely frustrated. But I'm careful not to address things in a certain way because I know all of us are going to have to wear this stuff. You know, and I wonder if if any of you guys, because Kay is back as well, if any of you guys feel like there's an industry where you think that might not be the case. We'll start with Kay because she hasn't been on in a minute.
Oh wow, an industry where that might not be the case. I think I can't really think of one because, like you said, as a minority, in in this country and in pretty much every profession, it's like you're somehow representative of a whole group, which is quite the burden to bear. So yeah, I really can't think of one where that wouldn't be the case, where you
Mm-hmm.
have to where you are representative of an entire people. Huh. I mean,
Somebody just one of the people that's watching us, but isn't in the chat on YouTube, just said it on Facebook. What about porn? Actually, we've talked about this before. Porn is actually far more racist than you know. And I know, like Rain, it wasn't the show you were on. It might have been me and Marlon. But on one of those shows, we talked about like the racism in the porn industry, and like it's like rampant.
really.
Oh no, it was I had it was when I had Bobo and Breathe V on. That's when we talked about that. Yep.
Anybody that doesn't find that surprising just never watch porn because it's too easy to divide. You know, what I mean, people using porn. I mean, the point of watching porn is watching something enjoyable, and is
Yeah.
they legit are racist on purpose for you. Like, I mean, they may be legit racist, but they don't stop it because it makes money,
Yeah.
and it's blatant. No matter what you do, blatant.
Exactly.
It's like, racist father watches white daughter
Have
chase
sex with
a
black
black.
guy. Yeah.
Like what?
I'd say the entire Ghetto Gaggers series is built on the notion of like making like black women subservient through rape like conditions by white men. Yeah. But
I learned something new today.
yeah. No, like there we could literally do an entire topic on that. The problem is before I do that show, I want to get a friend of mine who has a lot more knowledge on the sort of inner workings and stuff from having gone into doing very interesting just editing. He just does video editing for porn.
Hmm.
That's it. That's all he does. Um, but I want to get a hold of him and see if he will come on because I think he would be a very interesting person to talk to on that. But Shay, I do want to get your thoughts on like, is there an industry you feel like maybe this industry we like what one of us does, all of us don't have to hold up for?
technically morticians, but probably not in there.
I get.
In my head, that's the only one that I can think of. The only industry I can think of where everybody pretty much agrees that morticians are generally just creepy people because they deal with death all the time.
Yeah,
That's the only time
there's no racial component to why they're creepy. It's just that that job kind of makes you creepy.
Yeah, I think that might be the only thing. However, if a black mortician were to ever do something else, I think that would still then somehow mean that all black people, not even just all black morticians.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Every time you have a black mortician, they're really like in film. Just putting them in the film. When you have a black mortician in film, they're usually intimidating. Like they're forebodingly intimidating. I was thinking about the I was thinking about the one in Hoodlum, and then Tony Todd. What's up?
I said I feel like black morticians are always portrayed the point of being villainous in literally all movies, all TV. Like there's not one that's just intelligent, knows their craft. They're all just like villainous. You just look at them like I mean, even in Idlewild.
Wait a minute though. Hold that. Because
Every white mortician's like that as well, though.
That because they're black, the assumption is villain. It doesn't matter if they're mortician in that particular case.
Actually, I will say that that's the only time I will disagree with you. Um, I agree that there are many times you see the mortician as a villainous figure, but they're never. It's never they're the supervillain. It's always they're they're not a good guy because why would a guy who deals with death be a good guy? It's never out and out like evil. They're just like death is technically here to kill you, but death is not an entity that like that like treats you the same way. Like you never think of him as the same kind of evil as like a dark side or Lex Luthor that wants to destroy everything. But no, I was gonna say when I see black morticians in film that aren't like having any bigger deal with the plot, I think of like Tony Todd in the Jason series, and Final Destination, um, the mortician in Luke Cage, and then the only cartoonish looking one, which is just his face, the mortician in Hoodlum, way back when. Um, like, but he looks actually creepy. But when they do white morticians, they're either like the dad in The Right, where they're a plot device. It doesn't really matter who plays them, but they always use that for like a cameo, or they are like ridiculously creepy. They always have some weird sexual attraction to the bodies. Like black morticians get fairly standard appearances. They're pretty just like I do this. Like I feel intimidating and foreboding and quote unquote villainous to a degree, but like this is what I do. I don't do any creepy stuff with the bodies. I might make a joke to lighten you up. But if I'm a white mortician, I have some weird facial tic, or I'm like crazily overweight and like 90 feet tall. Like the white morticians actually. Yeah.
Oddly, the least creepiest mortician that we've probably seen to date is oddly Andre 3000 Idlewild.
Nope, I got one even more than that. Because you're forgetting a very obvious one. The least creepy mortician ever in a mainstream movie, and it's a big mainstream movie.
Black?
No, just in general.
Oh, my girl.
Oh, well, I was saying black.
Oh, you were saying black. I was saying ever, and I was thinking of uh, Laura Fiorentino as Laura Weaver in Men in Black.
No, I was thinking my girl. The father and my girl. They're morticians. Remember?
Yeah, but he's a plot device.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, but he's a plot device.
Yeah, I didn't.
He's not really in like he's. It was a plot device. Like they don't have. He doesn't have a ton of scenes, and and he's like he only kind of appears to kind of give her notes. Like that movie belongs to Macaulay Culkin and was it Cheminsky?
I know
Yeah,
you're not asking the name.
like sorry, but like yeah no, like she like he is a plot device. Like that movie is about the kids. It's not really about him. He just kind of pops up every once in a while, and that's Dan Aykroyd plays him like on purpose. They're like, hey, we know this is gonna be some heavy stuff. Let's get a funny guy. So I
I
can't.
just remember that. So
Yeah, yeah.
I just knew the father definitely was not.
Oh yeah, he definitely was not creepy because it was bad. But no, I see we're kind of up near the timing. I want to get us out of here. You know, kind of on a final note with this. I, I guess in the end for me, like the problem I have with this is the idea of a professional, somebody who takes their craft seriously, as this person definitely talks about doing, to then take that tactic with somebody who humbled themselves to come to you. Like, it, say what you will about the relations in the black community right now. Regardless of how you feel about it, it's a humbling thing for a black man to ask a black woman who he perceives as further along in a particular industry to give him advice. Like, and to have done it so respectfully, and then like have that happen, just like I'm not even in the same industry, and it pisses me off. And like to a point where like even though I'm friends with this person on Facebook, I don't follow this person on Facebook any further. I will not support their events and things of that nature. Like I'm done with it, and I think that's tragic on its own because obviously you guys know who watch the show. You know you've had Brittany and I talking about before about people we want to see win, and yeah, this was one of those people I was like, yo, I hope you get the things you want in life because like you seem like a
Right.
genuine good person and have been good with me. Like I've met this person, we in person.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Did you hear?
Yeah.
I was
So
about to say that.
like just to get out of here, obviously we'll do all the wrap up stuff in a second. But like that really bothered me about it. Like that is the thing that cooked my brain on it and kept it like in the forefront of my mind enough to do this show. Because for the whole day I couldn't think about it after I saw that stuff. And then the moment I said like, yeah, we're making a show out of this, it stayed in my brain just every day at some point. I'm just like, yo, what the fuck? Because we need more of us everywhere. Maybe you wanted a woman to come to you, a black woman to come to you for advice. That says a whole other thing about your character at that point. Because the idea that like he couldn't come to you and say, hey, I need this advice. Maybe he didn't even want it for himself. Maybe he was thinking, just like, yo, I want this information, but I really want to make sure my friend gets this information because she could be really good in this too. Like, the idea of all of that stuff, just that infuriates me. And before I get to the point where I'm yelling out people's actual names and exposing this shit, we're gonna end the show. I do, of course, want to thank all of you all for coming on. Roddy, it's always good to have you on, brother. It's been too long since the last one. We got to do this again here soon. Maybe at the end of October in Las Vegas. Um, but I also want, of course, yeah, I of course want to thank Rain. Lord, I have missed our back and forths, Rain. We like
I know I've been too busy. I'm
I
sorry.
know I needed this, and of course we get Kay. I'm so sorry that we couldn't get give no quarter going. But it's good to have you on for this, and we'll do some other stuff here as we get towards the end of elections and all that jazz. Got to get you in for some roundup stuff.
Yeah, of
Um,
course. There's
but
a lot going on.
yeah, it was good to have this throwback episode of the Wrath of Ruthless with some classic folks on. So, folks, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna end the stream here. Of course, as always, we want to give publicity where publicity deserves to go. Not Selena Dunham. Um, Of course, check out our TeePublic. That's tpublic.com/314 publishing. Remember, we are currently running a sale. That's where you'll be able to pick up all of our stuff at various discounts. Everything is discounted. Our awesome travel mugs, and of course, our shirts of all types. Plenty of sizes. I think they go up to 5 or 6X. So everybody should be able to get a shirt. And of course, that Weekend Life logo, just press play. We, of course, means go over to check out weekendlife.com. That's WKNDLIFE.com. We've got a brand new movies millennials might have missed coming up. We've got some movies you didn't know you needed coming up. Obviously, you can get all of our episodes over there for this show. We've got some additional reviews coming up, as well as some serial story series. And of course, keep checking out Stream Life. We may pick up Westworld to do a weekly reaction show for, like we did with Game of Thrones. So look out for that. Of course, check out Ruby Jean's Juicery here in Kansas City, 40th and Broadway. Wonderful menu, all handcrafted stuff, all made fresh there right for you. So check them out, 40th and Broadway. They close at 4 o'clock, so they're closed now if you're here in Kansas City. But they open at 10 a.m. tomorrow and 10 a.m. I believe every day. Please go check them out. Be sure to tell them that the Wrath of Ruthless sent you. And finally, please share and donate to my brother's GoFundMe. That's gofundme.com/Thor's Warriors. If you can't donate, please share on Facebook, Twitter, and elsewhere. Everything you do helps. Any donation helps. Everything you guys bring helps out a ton as he goes on to get his heart transplant. And obviously, we don't have it up ready to go yet, but soon coming, a Patreon for the Wrath of Ruthless. Again, we're going to give you guys a lot of content for that. That's why we're ramping up the additional shows and making it possible for different things to come on. And so, for 314 Publishing, Imperial Dreams Productions, Words Don't Do It Justice, Weekends Don't Do It Justice, and of course, our friends over at Geek Street Radio and our super fans in the Justice League. For Free the V and her Patreon, check that out. For Rain, Ruthless, Roddy P, KA, and somewhere out there dealing with the interesting Saturday in Nashville, the Ronin. I am the Ruthless Wonder, not a Ruthless Wonder. You have been listening to the Wrath of Ruthless. See you next time.
Bye bye.